And welcome to the Breakfast Blend with Mac and Morgan. I'm Mac.
And I'm Morgan.
Games, news, coffee. And so, today's episode, the coffee's here, and it has a hint of coconut, which I apologize profusely for having to give up a man card for that to Morgan. However, today in the news, we are not inundated, but there is some. So what do we got today, Morgan?
Today we have the creator of Minecraft, Marcus Notch Persons, is running out of ideas.
Okay.
And then we also have Naughty Dog. They insisted on having female testers for The Last of Us.
Okay. Okay, let's... So, Notch is tapped.
Tapped out.
So, what's the deal here? What is he saying?
He's saying that the game is never ending, and there's not much
His
else you can
Minecraft?
do. Yeah, it's never ending. And the ideas that he does have...
For follow-up?
Yes.
Like games and so forth?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean... It's hard to feel bad for him, considering the boatloads of cash he's made. He literally, at this point, could just stop.
Right.
And just do whatever. I mean, of course, he is basically doing whatever he wants right now, as it is. I know they say that there's almost nothing worse than success, particularly on your first venture. But, well, you know, that was an awful pause where I sat and debated in my own mind, do I really... Okay. I think that being in the public space, having that much success would probably mean that you are scrutinized incessantly. Everything he
Non-stop.
says and does. Like, I didn't even look. He must have over 1 million followers on Twitter, you know, shit like that. Like, everything you say and think is going to be filtered and responded to. I'm not sure, much as people want to be celebrities, in the end...
I wouldn't enjoy that.
Wasn't there a movie where someone finally decided to exact vengeance on the paparazzi? I think there was. It was some dude where he was like, "That's it, I'm sick of it," and he just started kicking the living shit
snapped.
out of him.
Justin Bieber? Was that his movie?
Yeah, he's kicking somebody's ass.
I can't believe I just mentioned his name.
I know, right? I'm pretty sure Mariah Carey bent him over her knee and smacked the shit out of him in that video. For those of you who... this is the only thing I know about Justin Bieber, I swear to God. Other than how to spell his name, because we have a niece who's just obsessed. She's also 5, giving you a frame of reference for that. But I saw some Christmas video with him in it, where he was essentially ogling Mariah Carey. She's in her little Santa baby outfit. And she's like into him. And I'm like, hold on. She's like in 40s at this point. If he's even legal in this video, and I don't know. It was just creepy, very creepy. Not just because he has the most ridiculous haircut I think I've ever seen. But did you notice when I set up your Twitter account that I had you following Justin Bieber initially?
I did notice, and I quickly unfollowed Justin Bieber.
I think I gave you Taylor Swift as well.
Yep. Done. Gone.
In all fairness, it didn't start with me wanting to mess with you, but they force you to take 5, and the first one that popped up was Taylor Swift. And I was like, all right, whatever, next. And then I was like, wait a minute. Then I actually deliberately gave you Bieber, which is where knowing how to spell his name came in handy. Merely for messing with people purposes, not because I listened to him or anything. Do you actually know any Bieber songs?
I do not.
I'm trying to think. I have seen events where he's been present, and I've only ever heard Taylor Swift sing once. What are we talking about? Holy shit! And moving back onto track. This was not shitty pop stars news coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so next gaming piece.
The Naughty Dog Naughty Dog insisting on having female testers for The Last of Us.
Right. That was, I think there was someone else, some other game that came out that was told by whatever marketing crew they hired, or maybe it was by their producer. I don't know. Someone who could tell them what to do told them, if you have a female lead, it won't work. No one wants a female lead, which kind of flies against the popularity of Tomb Raider, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And I think everybody kind of enjoyed Perfect Dark. So, rather than giving a list of female lead characters, which I admittedly don't have a whole lot of, which is, I think, indicative of the problem. So, Naughty Dog, when making the game... Which game?
The Last of Us.
The one you're still waiting to be able to play the demo for.
I probably have 50 days.
Probably.
Yeah.
They're not giving you regular updates?
I haven't gone on there to check and see how many days I have.
Okay.
I'm not going to. I'm going to wait and see if they remind me on Twitter.
You're not even going to check?
Nope.
Because hopefully they're not gathering that data. And they're like, oh, it will remind them to remind you.
Yeah.
Okay. I know nothing about the game beyond the post-apocalyptic setting.
That's all I know at this point as well. I don't know much.
And wait, I do know that Ellen Page is the voice actress for the female, who apparently Naughty Dog was told to put on the back of the box. Is that correct? I think that's what I saw. They were like, hey, we know you got a chick in here, and she's the lead character, and you paid this incredibly popular actress plenty of money to do all this, but how about you put her on the back of the box?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think one of the things was that there were no females involved in the focus group testing, which I mean, I can't even fathom that. It's like, well, we want to test this new peanut butter, so make sure that we only let 5-year-olds try it, and we're going to base all of our marketing campaign on that. Not the mothers who actually buy the shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand that it's still the conception that females don't game nearly as much as males, which I don't even know. I saw, what was it? Who was it? Someone released data essentially saying that there are just as many female gamers as male gamers, just we play slightly different things.
Right.
But there's still crossover. I mean, it's not like no woman in the world wants to play Halo. Okay, I got my ass kicked by more than one female gamer.
Mm-hmm.
The end, of course, is not that there aren't any men out there playing fucking, what is that thing? Fruit Ninja? Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. They make that an actual game at Dave & Buster's. It's an arcade place. Why in God's name would I go into this place to pay $10 or more to swipe my finger on a screen on a game that I already have for free on my fucking phone? And you know what? They do. Fucker, they are all over this thing. Like, it was that and one of those stupid you get tickets when you play skee ball and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Well, that's become a secondary market in there. Somehow there's this disconnect when you walk into this place that there's a bunch of shitty prizes at the end that you can trade in tickets for, and you play games to get the tickets. Except you pay way too much for these games to earn these tickets to get. So you'll spend $100
easily
to get enough tickets to maybe get a shitty baseball cap that falls apart after 2 days.
How much did it cost for Fruit Ninja? Do you know? Did you look?
Well, bear in mind they don't have an accurate assessment of transfer of funds there. Excuse me. Everything's based on credits, and the credits were down to a decimal point. And I think that Fruit Ninja was something like 8 point something or 9 point 9 point something credits, which translates roughly to, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of like $1.50 or something. So you're paying more for one play than you would to even own the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane, dude. And they also had like Infinity Blade and Doodle Jumper and all. Like, I got Infinity Blade for free on my iPod.
So you go in for dinner. You drink, you get drunk, and overpay for shitty free games.
Right. And then, now, some would argue, my bitch is going to be about the ticket thing. Some would argue that it's not like a direct transfer. You're not exchanging currency for tickets that have next to no, which is like pennies on the dollar.
Right.
In order to get some shitty candy or something at the last thing. I understand that in between there are games to be played. And yeah, you know what? Skee ball is kind of fun.
I love skee ball.
Okay? So yes, I paid money for the experience, and then there happens to be a benefit at the end. I'm not arguing that. My problem was, nobody gave a shit about skee ball at this place.
Mm-hmm.
What the single most popular game there was not a game. It was a spinning fucking Wheel of Fortune style spindle with a little ticker counter on the side inside a container, so you can't touch it. You just grab a handle, jerk it downward, transfers the kinetic energy, and makes the wheel spin, and the only thing on that wheel are the number of tickets that you will receive for having pulled a fucking lever. That's not a game.
No.
It's not even like a test of skill or something. At least I can understand you're hitting a hammer to make a bell ring or something. Like, there's inherently some effort involved. This was just, you just pull this fucking thing down. Kids were doing it. It was not, I'm talking 5-year-olds were jerking this thing down. It's not that hard. And I'm like, why? And, I mean, you know what? You paid money. You do whatever makes you happy. I understand. That's fine. But this is just shitty on their part,
yeah.
Dave & Buster's, because you're not even providing real entertainment. It's basically a precursor to gambling,
mm-hmm.
which it turns out, holy gods, on the other end of the gaming zone, if you like directly catty corner from the shitty Wheel of Fortune, is a fake OTB.
Really?
Okay, I'm talking a video game runs a simulation of horse races with little kiosks, essentially. They're like little desks
mm-hmm.
that are just enough space for you to write something down and put your drink. We were there 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. There were people passed out at the OTB.
Like 80-year-old guys sitting there.
Well,
spending their...
Actually, one was probably a 50-year-old woman,
mm-hmm.
and there was an older guy. But there were just people, and I asked someone who worked there, I'm like, what's going on with this shit over here? This is crazy. And she was like, you have no idea. She said, every day after work, we get mobbed over there. She's like, and all weekend, that place is crazy. People just sit there betting on fake horses. Like, it's not even, like, you... Okay, first of all, I don't think there's any real rhyme or reason to fucking horse betting anyway. Mm. There's too many factors and variables, but everyone's like, oh, well, I know this jockey and I know this horse and blah, blah, blah. Go fuck yourself, okay? Yeah. None of it matters. All you need is one pebble on the thing in the wrong place and the horse goes down. So you really can't say you can predict.
Right.
But there's definitely none of that in a video game version. It's all fake. Unless some guy thinks that he has some algorithm. But if it's truly random, which I know technically nothing is truly random in a game, but he can just decide, okay, this one won 4 times, so we're going to make another one win. Like this, I couldn't even imagine how you could predict it. But it's not real. You don't even get to see a real horse or cheer on a person who is riding a horse. It's
you just stare at it.
Polygons.
Mm-hmm. So what, is it a cash payout or is it like a phone card or tickets? What do you get for that if you win?
You know, I didn't even ask. I imagine it's just tickets.
They can't do cash. I know that.
No, because then, yeah, it has to only be tickets because otherwise they are a gambling establishment, so they can't do that.
Right. So these people are actually coming in there, sitting down for tickets. To win a stuffed frog.
Right, and overpaying for drinks. It's not even as good as going to like Atlantic City, where at least you don't really pay for the drinks. Mm-hmm. You know, you can just sit there and have shit keep coming as long as you're just paying a little bit at your roulette wheel. You'll keep getting drinks. No, you're paying. It was like $7 for a draft beer there. You know, okay, sure, it was
It's like a sporting event.
I know, right? It is. It's a racket. I couldn't even believe that. She's like, oh yeah, it never ends. It's a stream of people coming in here. I'm like, that's awful, and people suck. But if you want to sign away your kids' college fund to a fake OTB,
holy shit. That makes no sense to me. It's just the mental stimulation for them, thinking that they're.
I guess maybe it's like the patch for smokers.
Yeah.
Like they're stepping it down. Maybe that's how it's presented. There could be like some support group that's like, okay, so Tuesdays you're going to go to Dave & Buster's, okay? Make sure that's the place you go because it's not real. You think it's sort of the same. I don't know. I think the next step is to just have like stuffed animals going around a track on arms and trying to pretend that it's a fucking greyhound or a dog race or something. Yeah, that was pathetic. But I was most upset by the focus on only games that printed out tickets. Mm-hmm. And it was like, you needed an insane amount of tickets to get anything.
Right.
And I'm like, listen, what a rational human being would be like, go fuck yourself, Dave & Buster's. I'll just pay the $1 for a piece of candy outside in the world, not $20 to play skee ball so that I can get that as a reward. Like, I like the skee ball. But what really bothered me was no one was playing any game that didn't provide tickets of some kind. Mm-hmm. Those games got like a cursory, like people come by and maybe try it out and then just keep going. So all the fun stuff that I wanted to play, which was like light gun games, there's something visceral about, those ones that they actually have recoil on the pistol and shit. I love that. Yeah. Nobody cared. Couldn't get the kids into it. They tried it once and like, meh. I'm like, that was awesome. I mean, I understand it was Time Crisis 3, and I get that game's like 15 years old.
Who cares?
But, not 15, but whatever. Like, I even own Time Crisis at home, but it's not the same as having an air rifle that has recoil and a big pedal at my foot so that I can duck and pop out of cover. Like, that's fun. They even had like some new version of Pac-Man where it's direct competitive Pac-Man, where you're both on the grid at the same time, and the pellets. Like, I stayed to watch this because I wanted to see how do you reinvent fucking Pac-Man.
Right.
The methodology is pellets pop up, but not the whole screen full. At least not initially. They're just a small amount, and you got to get them. And then every now and then, a power pellet shows up, and whoever gets a power pellet can eat all the ghosts or the other pack player.
Oh, I like it.
So it's kind of neat. It was up to 4 players. Problem was, I watched these 2 kids play it, put in their money, started it, and I counted. It was nearly 2 minutes before the game started. It went through a countdown. Then it went through a whole explanation of how it works. Then it went through another countdown. Like, desperately, like, begging, please, just one more player. Yeah. Like, it was awful. I'm like, holy crap, no wonder. This is the first time after 2 hours there, that was the first time I saw someone sit down. Because, why would you?
Yeah, I would walk away.
Yeah, and the one kid got beat out almost immediately. Like, they did one little round of pellets that was just like a small square. And then immediately, the next one popped up, power pellet. The other kid was right next to it, grabbed it, ate them all. Game over. I'm like, oh, fuck that.
So he waited like 10 minutes to play for 2.
No, it was awful, man. Like, I like the idea. Execution was awful. So, we don't have any other news, do we?
No.
I'm sad. Well, I have a piece of news, actually. I downloaded that Injustice Gods Among Us, I believe it's called. It's the DC Comics fighting game. Mm-hmm. Let's just get out of the way. The whole premise is ridiculous. I'm a huge Batman fan. Always have been, ever since I was a kid. I once, apparently, I don't recall this, but I was told, I once was incredibly rude to my aunt because I wanted Batman sheets for my bed. She was unable to find them, and I got Superman. And I was apparently a little shit.
I would be pissed off, too.
So, very sorry. I know that 30-plus years later is a little late for the apology, but I didn't know that I had done this. Otherwise, I would have done this sooner. But I love Batman, but I'm sorry. Superman's kicking his ass. Mm-hmm. That's it. I don't care if he has some kryptonite. Superman can stand, a half a mile away and then lobotomize Batman with some heat vision. You know what I mean?
Right.
I get that Batman prepares. I read The Dark Knight Returns. I get it. I know that there is a way to beat Superman, but you got to plan that shit in advance. You don't just show up in a ring and be like, "You're mine." Mm-hmm. Okay? So, they have non-supers, like Green Arrow, and then there's Lex Luthor, and he's in his power armor. Then they have Doomsday, the guy who temporarily killed Superman, because he can't stay dead,
right?
Because then he can't sell comic books. And so, but I played it, and it was awful. I'm sorry, I don't care. I'm a snob. I'm a bourgeois fighting game player, and this thing did not have fun mechanics. There were ideas in it that I did enjoy. The multi-tiered environments, screen and environment specific, super moves. There were a lot of, I played, you can only play as Wonder Woman or Batman. Mm-hmm. Actually, I went with Batman first. Tried Wonder Woman. She had a neat little thing where you could, do hand-to-hand, and she used her lasso, or you hit a button and she switches to sword and shield. Which, why is Wonder Woman walking around with Captain America's shield? That's basically what it was. It's what the fuck?
You know why. Come on now.
It's not even the same property, okay? But it did not feel good. Mm-hmm. You felt ineffective. The range for the grapples was way too fucking close. You had to be standing on them. There would have been clipping issues with the character models at that point if they weren't careful. That's how close you need to be able to grab someone. Unless you do... Batman had the Scorpion get over here thing, except instead of dragging someone to him, because, he ain't dragging Superman to him, he shoots a grapple at them, and then it launches him at them for a kick. Which I thought was, hey, that's the right way to do that, because Batman's not dragging fucking Doomsday to him for an uppercut. Do it the other way. He shoots at them, and he can put, a batarang on their back, and a little explosion. But that's gonna fuck with anybody that he's fighting. You know what I mean? Other than Green Arrow. And then there's Flash, who is incredibly fast, but other than that, pretty much has the same weaknesses as a person. But then that brings in, how do you play as the Flash? He's too fast.
Yeah.
You couldn't... I'm not saying that you shouldn't try and make a game, but if you're going to make the game, do a better job of it. At least make the game fun. I did not enjoy it. None of the combos made sense. It was more button mashing with a little bit of directional inputs. There was a touch of the Street Fighter quarter circle punch and that, but I love the Virtua Fighter method of 3 buttons. Guard, punch, kick. That's it. And where those things occur dictate where you're standing. If you push diagonally downward, then you punch kind of in that area. And there was another... who was it? I'm losing track of my fighting games at this point. But it was... and they changed it halfway through where it was the top... 2 buttons were punch. One was left... Oh, it was... I think it was Soul Calibur was doing that, where it was 2 punches, 2 kicks, or whatever. Even Soul Calibur, 4-button layout, it becomes confusing and difficult to press buttons. But still, I preferred that mechanic. There was a speed and a fluidity to it. This game had none of that. Now, I admit, it is the demo. It may not be indicative of the final product, but...
Not happy.
I don't really care what the final product's like. I ain't buying it.
Did Wonder Woman look sexy?
Yeah, they did. They took it... I mean, of course, that's what she is. She's Superman with boobs, is essentially what she's become at this point. And so, they didn't make it over the top, at least. It was a little more, but she's still wearing a bodysuit that stops at her cleavage, which is, naturally, it's Wonder Woman, so it's enhanced by, her golden corset. However, the art for the game, the what I assume will be the box art, and then the the images that they use to promote this thing, all the marketing and that shit, make her out to be way sexier and much more of an object of desire than she is in the game. In the game, she's like any other female fighter. Yeah, form-fitting outfit, but they don't really sexualize her in the game. I mean, she's not jumping on the guy's face with a, you know how they do that where like they jump on his head and wrap their legs around his neck and flip him over. None of that shit, you know. She's not pulling the what was that, Black Widow in Avengers? None of that shit. She's just fighting, you know. She uses her lasso, which I suppose if you have certain bondage fetishes, then it really works for you. But no, it wasn't too bad. I will say they did. Holy shit! I was watching when you just put the game in, I guess, the sequence that while you're pressing start and scrolling through your menus, the pre-game sequence is this time frozen slow pan around different scenes, and one is like an ice blast being shot by someone I didn't pay attention to, but you see it like grazes the Flash, like gives him a little cut through his suit right below his eye, but it's frozen in time, and there's like little ice crystals floating.
That sounds pretty cool.
And there was a couple of them. There was like, you know, Wonder Woman with her grimace, and Batman showing up with a punch, and Superman blasting with, like, not the traditional Christopher Reeves Superman heat vision. This shit looks like a nuclear fission reaction just blasting out of his face. But holy crap, like, fuck the game. I don't want a game. I want a movie that looks like that. Give me a Justice League film that looks as good as that opening sequence there, and I'm happy. I would pay... Well, I wouldn't pay a game price for that, but I would definitely go to a theater to see that. It was sweet. The wife saw it, and she was like, well, they don't really look real. They look like... they look like wax models. I'm like, yes, you're right, but that's still, like, light years ahead of the most recent best attempt. So, yeah. Phenomenal, but the game sucks. Sorry, DC. So, thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode of The Breakfast Blend. I'm Mac.
I'm Morgan.
We'll see you later. So, if we just tell them all the things we're going to discuss, and then maybe they'll stick around. Or not. I'm a fucking dick. You don't stop me.
Yeah, why would I?